Alright, so my sister is at the age where she's going out and looking at colleges that she's thinking about attending when she finishes high school. I decided that I would come along on one of these trips and annoy her by videotaping things. So we got up, got in the car, and headed out getting on the freeway. For those of you who don't know, Evergreen State is down in Olympia, so that's where we headed. And it's quite a long drive, so we're going to montage together the things we saw, including the people that got pulled over, which there were a number of, and there were also a few ambulances that drove by. It was pretty exciting out on the roads. So we continued along, and we drove past the water, which is always very beautiful, and then we had to make our first stop, because somebody had to use the bathroom. Once we got back out on the road, we also passed by Wild Waves theme park and the Tacoma Dome. We also passed by a military base that I did not take footage of in fear of the government breaking down my door. By this time, both me and my sister were feeling pretty ready to get there, and so with that, we found a parking space in the middle of a forest. It's not called Evergreen State College for nothing, apparently. So we eventually found the buildings that actually made up the campus, and it didn't turn out to be that big. We found ourselves in the middle of a courtyard surrounded by students going about their daily activities, and there was one thing on our mind that we had to do first. Find somewhere to eat lunch, and luckily, pizza was on the menu. We ate on campus in a little place called the Marketplace, and Topio's served pizza. And then, that of course led to the next stop, as always happens with our family, the ladies' room. So now it was time to go meet up with the admissions people for the little information seminar held in this little conference room. I didn't video that because it was boring. Anyway, once they were done talking, it was time to go out on the tour. So we started walking across campus in the heat. I hung back with my mom just so that we could make fun of everyone else as we walked, and it was a lot of fun. Our first stop was this big open building with this really weird Native American art, I guess? I don't know. Really wasn't listening to the tour guide, so not entirely sure what the purpose of this building is. Our next stop was classroom buildings, and this one had really cool architecture on the outside. And then we went inside and looked at some of the science projects that were hanging up on the walls and peered in all the windows of the science classrooms. It's a pretty nice facility, if a little dated. After that, it was back outside and across the courtyard over towards the main lecture buildings. These too had a very interesting architectural design, but apparently the tour guide was more focused on making us walk up and down every single flight of stairs on campus and not actually showing us anything interesting. Next came the gym, which was boring, and the fields, which were green and open and full of people being active. All the time, my sister had this strange expression on her face and couldn't really tell what she was thinking about. And then they took all of the potential students in to see the dorms, which, according to them, have no stairs to go upstairs, and since the elevators were down due to construction, they couldn't see anything. To me, that sounds like a load of bogus. By this time, we had literally walked everywhere on campus, and it was time to get going. Since it was almost time for dinner, we decided to stop at one place along the way we all agreed was the best. Hooters. Best wings on the entire freaking planet. After we had our wings, we stopped by a nearby Krispy Kreme to pick up some donuts for dessert. And after a long day out and about in Olympia and the Tacoma area, we headed home.